Hey, writers. Have you ever been on a roller coaster before? Or if you haven't, have you ever seen a roller coaster or seen people riding on one before? So, this is how a roller coaster looks, right? The first one is always like a really big hill. And they start you off down here at the bottom, right? They start you off right down here at the bottom. And then as you're going up the hill, you go at a pretty steady pace. You go tick, 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 tick. And then as soon as you start getting to the top here, they make it slower. They make it tick, tick, tick. And then you come to an almost stop at the top. Why do you think that roller coasters do that? Do you know why? The reason why they do is they slow things down right before the big whoosh. Because when a big thing is going to happen, whether it's something scary like going down a roller coaster or something really energetic, if you stop or slow down right before that big moment, it makes that big moment feel even stronger, like ah. And so that's sort of what I want to talk to you about today. What I want to talk to you about today is adding suspense. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard that word before. I'm going to write it for you right here. The word is suspense. And suspense is when you are just on the edge of your seat, wondering, waiting, what's going to happen next. Like this is your face. Your face is like, ooh, what? Right before it, you're like waiting. Writers add suspense to their stories. And one way that writers add suspense to their writing to make their writers on the edge of their seats is to use something called ellipses. Ellipses are the ... I bet you've seen those before. Ellipses are ... And writers put them right before a big exciting part, a big surprise, something big, a big event that's about to happen in a story. So you're going to see that. So let me show you that in a few stories. So one story that I'm thinking of that uses ellipses is this story called Dogzilla. It's really funny. It's by Dave Pilkey. And if you like Captain Underpants, you'll like this book too. So anyways, this book is about a town of mice that gets an invasion of a dog. And so they think that at the end of it, they think that they've solved the problem. It says, however, there was one thing they hadn't counted on. ... Puppies! And that's like the big exciting surprise. This author over here also does it. This book is called The Three Little Super Pigs, which is an adaptation of The Three Little Pigs. And this author her name is Claire Evans. She uses ellipses too. Let's see. So right here in her story, we have right over here, later that day, they received some shocking news. The big bad wolf has escaped. So Claire Evans added this in here to make us even more shocked and surprised when we get to this part. Let's look at another place where there are some ellipses right down here. Back at home, the first super pig was relaxing when he sensed something strange. Suddenly, a dark shadow fell upon the room. The big bad wolf! Cried the super pig. So you can see this is how writers add energy and add surprise by using these ellipses. So I'm going to try it out in my story. So I've been working on the Little Red Riding Hood. And so this is the part, I feel like the big exciting moment in this part is when the wolf jumps out and says, "The better to eat you with, my dear," and is going to swallow her up. So I'm going to see if there's a place that before that happens that I could add ellipses. Because see, this is like the big exciting part. So I'm wondering. So I have knock, knock, knock. "Who is it?" the wolf called in his best granny voice. See, I added onomatopoeia here, spicy details. "It is your granddaughter, Little Red Riding Hood," she replied. "Come in," called the wolf. So this is all dialogue, right? Unfreezing. Little Red Riding Hood said, Why, Granny, what big eyes you have. The better to see you with, my dear, answered the wolf. Granny, what big ears you have. The better to hear you with, my dear, said the wolf. And Granny, what big teeth you have. I think that's the moment right there. I think that's it. So I'm going to change something. Instead of an exclamation mark, I'm going to change it to ellipses, dot, dot, dot. And Granny, what big teeth you have. The better to eat you with, my dear. I think that works. I think that works. Now you got to be careful with ellipses. Ellipses is kind of like salt. It's good and it's tasty, but if you use too much in a story, it's going to be kind of yucky. Same thing. You can't put ellipses all over a story. You maybe want to use it once or twice in a story. So now I'd like you to try. I want you to go into your story of the three little pigs, not the super pigs, but your story of the three little pigs, and see if there's a spot that you could add suspense by adding ellipses right before the big moment. Give it a try, writers.